Hey, it's your old pal Lucid Stew again, and this time I get to talk to you about something I made during the Dreams beta. Some of my content was briefly featured in the July 24th stream, which means I can finally show it, so let's take a look. First of all, I have to say thanks to Media Molecule for mentioning my YouTube content and for the round of applause. It really is flattering. But the bigger point is that they're listening to their audience. If you make an effort to have your voice heard, they will hear you, and that is very encouraging for a developer of content that centers so much around what its players make. Quick word about this video, I have a lot of things to say and point out, and Media Molecule only played it for about a minute and a half, so I'll be running a lot of things in halftime or displaying still images. This is intentional. The first thing we see is a start menu. This is a menu I made, and I made it modular so it can be added to any scene with extremely minimal effort. One of my goals for Dreams is to make modular logic that allows people without an aptitude for logic to use it in their content. Maybe a person wants to concentrate on level design or animation or sound, but they also want to pull all that together in a nice presentation. Pieces like this will allow that. This is an early iteration and they didn't show the submenus, but this logic piece allows the user to adjust video and sound settings that affect the scene. When I've had some time to work on it a bit more, this will function just like a AAA game's start menu, with all the various options. I even have plans for a modular control remapper. On start, we take possession of our character. This robot was made by another user, iBubek. I needed a character. I didn't have time to learn how to make one. I searched for one. This one was perfect for my purposes. I was able to get into the logic and change things around a bit so that it worked exactly the way I needed. At this point, I had not tried making anything like a tree, and I needed a small forest with minimal effort. I searched for trees and found some I liked. The trees in this scene are by M. Ham, Gofferman, and Diamond Diance 10. The music, which you can't hear, is by Welsh John. Visual and sound effects are by Media Molecule. Nothing else except the sky existed before I created it. The grass, which the robot is standing on, was something I made. While we walk toward the entrance, let me give a quick overview of what this scene is about and why it exists. A friend of mine from Project Spark, Sir Valletta, had shown me something he was working on in the beta, and I decided I wanted to help out a bit. I started making things he might be able to use in his zombie apocalypse title. Once I had a few things, I really caught the bug and wanted to make a whole theme. That's what I've been doing in the beta mostly, with the intent of contributing to a rich environment of assets that will be available to people at launch. As great as Dreams is, and as much as I admire Media Molecule for what they've done, the total power of the community's ability is greater due to sheer numbers. Also, we've seen on the beta streams there is a lot of talent in the community. Given some time, we're all going to have some fantastic options for assets we don't have the time or skill to create ourselves. This is what will make Dreams great. So what is this scene? What are we looking at? I made a place where people can view my created assets and maybe get some ideas on how to use them. This isn't a game. I may add some game elements later, but the point of it is to wander around and figure out if you want to use my content for something you're building. So let's talk about the content. All the concrete around this character is one piece. It's a cube with 6 sides. It allows you to riff areas easily without going back for different assets to create variety. You've probably seen John Beach work with something like this in various streams. I think it's a good idea. I've done more than one materials cube like this. Other pieces in this shot that I made are the corrugated panels, that circular thing with the giant bolts on the right, the light fixtures, the moss coming out of the cracks in the concrete, and the stairs leading up to the entrance. Once at the entrance, John graciously paused for this shot. This hallway alone contains about 500 objects. In case you were worried about thermometer, this build of this scene was using about a fifth of available resources minus the robot, with the robot about a quarter. Also notice the dynamic lighting. All those spots on the ceiling and pipes are from a light under the grating serving as the floor. That is not a setting on the light. This light is actually being occluded by objects in the scene. You'll see more of this in a moment. I have made an entire system for pipework. This is a small part of it. On the left are a couple of grates I made. One is hugely scaled and has not really lost definition. The floor is an intricate pattern that I stumbled upon. You can make some pretty detailed things with these tools. Up ahead is a railing I made, and also a prize bubble. That's a collectible Media Molecule made that makes it easy for anyone to add some gameplay to their content. A few things in this shot. Oil barrels abound. Up ahead is a chain link fence I made. The chain link is actually 3D. Try that with polygons. Also, more dynamic lights coming through the floor in some very awesome ways. Keep in mind that those lights do not have to be static. I didn't rig anything up, but you can add logic to those and have them move around. A bit of critique here, you can see that puppets still need a bit of work. The legs get a bit wonky going downstairs. Honestly, the first time I tried this, I was surprised it went up and downstairs at all. You may be able to correct this with some logic and keyframing. It would be nice for it to be better out of the box to keep things simple, and because you don't want that distracting people during your game. In the background here, you get a look at some pipes scaled up. That effect is by Media Molecule and was very easy to search for and find. This platform is some physics fun courtesy of the engine. LBP fans probably recognize this mechanic. Many tools are very similar to the Little Big Planet series, as we've seen in a lot of streams. The beta runs for 8 more days. I'm going to keep cranking out content. I'm hoping to finish this theme as I've planned it. I have no idea what happens next. I can't imagine having to wait months to play this again just as I've started getting comfortable with it. They say they don't have another beta phase planned, so release is next, I guess. A few hundred choice users could work wonders between now and whenever launch occurs, but that's probably wishful thinking. Anyway, we'll keep our ear to the grindstone as always. I'm going to do another video about the rest of the beta streams soon, maybe 2 of them. There's a lot to talk about, so see you next time.